Our more advanced option for chest press, so when we're ready to move on from our machines, is by using a flat bench and grabbing our dumbbells. So our bench is flat, laying back down. Again, our dumbbells are in line with our chest, pressing straight up towards the ceiling, not locking out the elbow. Returning back down in line with our chest line. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Our incline dumbbell press, so we need to have our bench on an incline angle. So we do that by adjusting the knob up or down, so about a 45 degree is good. Grabbing our dumbbells, so our dumbbells for an incline chest press can go up slightly higher than typically what you could do on a fly. Okay? So with this, it's working the upper pectoral, so we want to have our weight between our mid-pec range, so our nipple line, and our shoulders. Not further back than our chest though, so it should be just hovering on top of our chest, pressing straight up towards the ceiling, but we're not locking out our elbows, so staying slightly bent. Retracting back down, exhale, pressing up, 2, 3, dumbbells come together just so they just lightly touch. Retract back down, but so our dumbbells are either side of our chest, so we're not directly in front, our elbows are close together. Either side, pressing up. But this is different to a fly, because a fly we're staggered out, and it's a very different motion to a fly, where our elbows don't retract. So coming back and pressing straight up. Our flat bench dumbbell flies, we need exactly that. We need a flat bench. Grab our dumbbells. We won't be able to go as heavy typically for what we would do for a bench press, because it is a fly, which means our elbows stay slightly bent. Not at a 90 degree, but about that bit extra, it's about 45 degree. Laying down, or even a little bit further. Laying down, hands are directly above us. In line with our eyes, open up in line with our chest, not gripping all the way out though. Exhale on the up. It's really important that we're not moving our elbows, so we're not extending it throughout this exercise. In line with our chest, and back up. So the hands should not be in line with our eye line, they should be remaining in line with our chest. Now, if you do want to engage your core a little bit with this one, you can bring your legs off the ground. It is harder in regards to engaging that core, so you won't be able to go as heavy with your feet off the ground. So just depending on what you're wanting to target, if it's more toning or if it's more higher weight and muscle gain. Our tricep push down, so any cable machine will do that has an upper lever connection. We're going to be using our straight bar with this one. Our feet are staggered. Elbows are tucked into our side, nice and tall throughout the back. Extending the elbows straight down. So our upper arm doesn't move. The only moving point is our elbow with this one. So coming straight back behind. Now, if you wish to engage your core a little bit more, which means that you're not allowing as much stability throughout the body, you can split the legs, so stagger the stance. Elbows remain by your side. Exhale, 2, 3, and inhale, 2, 3. Control. We don't want the elbows to be coming out and down from our chest, our lower chest. We want to be really working our tricep to help that lower arm area. With our dips, a more advanced version is using our dip machine. So this is for our triceps. Placing our hand towel down. Now with the weight on this one, it's different to what you would normally think. The heavier the weight, the easier it is, because it's assisted dip, so it's assisting your own body weight. So think about how much you weigh, and then whatever weight you put on, that's how much the machine is assisting you. All right. So coming onto the machine, kneeling down. So you want a decent weight, back up nice and straight. Elbows are retracted back behind you, and coming back up. Now we want to keep our back nice and straight. And we don't want to be shrugging and crowding our neck with our shoulders throughout this one. Exhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale on the half, 2, 3. And when you're ready to hop off, feet on the platform and just lightly, gently come off. All right, our rope overhead extensions, this is working our triceps again. Selecting our weight, I've attached the rope to the lever at the top. We want to be turning away from our weight stack. Elbows are staying nice and close in towards our ears. Our stance is split, nice and strong throughout our back, so we're not thinking forward. Nice straight line, extension over the top. So if you have a high pony, now's the time to move it down. On top of your head. Elbows standing beside our head, extending back behind our head with our hands, all the way through, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3. So we don't want to be coming forward and through. Elbows are staying beside our head, and extension, and retract back. Slightly more advanced from our vertical traction, we'll go for our lat pull down, which is the cable machine. If we need to, we can adjust around underneath our knees, depending on how tall you are, so how much room or space you need to keep your knees nice and snug. Ensure that we've already selected our weight. Grabbing hold of the handle. Now we don't want to have a close grip. We want to have the slightly wider, so on the curvature down. Sitting down, back up nice and straight. Bring them all the way down in line with our chest, so we don't want to be stopping it at our eyes. We want to bring it down to our chest. Retracting back, not locking out the elbows, so keeping them slightly bent. Exhale, inhale, back remaining nice and straight and tall. And we're coming to a count of 3 for each. So 1, 2, 3, controlled, and back, 2, 3, controlled. We have our seated row now. Adjusting our seat height using the yellow lever underneath. Now, the longer your arms are, so the taller you are, yellow again, extend it out further or bring it in closer, depending on how long your arms are for your reach. We want to have this plate sitting right in between our chest, not between our pectoris, so right underneath where that rib cage is. Make sure you've adjusted your weight. Back up nice and tall, so if you need to move forward in your seat, do so. Looking straight up, squeeze the scapulas together. So I want you to imagine that you have a hand between the scapula behind you, so that's between your shoulders. So you squeeze those shoulders together behind you. Nice and tall. Exhale. Exhale. 2, 3, and back. 2, 3. Don't lock out the elbows. Keep them slightly light. Nice and easy. More advanced versions were needed to obtain our core stability throughout this one. From our seated row is on the cable machine. So I've used the clamp and I've changed it to our V close grip. Sitting up back, our back is nice and tall. Squeezing those scaps in behind you, releasing back. Exhale, inhale. When we're retracting our elbows, we're not locking it out, we're not letting our shoulders come forward. Back staying nice and tall and upright. Exhale, inhale. So I'm using my core stability to keep it nice and strong. All right, using our super pullover machine. All right, exhale. Adjust the seat height. Depending on how tall you are, the shorter you are, the higher the seat needs to come. The taller you are, the lower the seat needs to be. If you need to adjust the can, so the can needs to retract back for the greater range of motion movement. So if you're not that flexible, you want to be able to move it closer forward. If you are able to, and capable, you can retract it back. Selecting a weight. Keeping in mind, we're going to progressively move up to this one. The bottom of our tricep, very close to the cover. Our hands in front of us. Now, with this exercise, we don't want to be heaving through our hands. We want to be making our backs towards our lats, working through. So, remaining back on the pad first, pulling all the way over to our belly button. Exhale, and retracting back. Try not to let the shoulders crowd the neck, so try not to shrug it up. Control your breathing. Exhale on the heart, 2, 3, 4, and inhale. 2, 3, 4. Don't come too far back, you're going to be starting to do some damage and start doing some tearing and ripping. Okay, we're going to be doing our pullovers now. So our pullovers is for our back muscles. Alright. Now, in the latest gym where we are, we're going to be using a bench for that, so it's a flat bench. Grabbing our dumbbell. So this is a more advanced move, so just keep in mind, don't be doing this one unless you're ready to be performing it. We're setting ourselves up like as if we're about to do a hip thruster, so we want the back of our shoulders and just the back of our neck on the bench. Hips are up, raised towards the sky. Hands directly on top, so it should be facing our dumbbell or our weight plate. We're extending it over the path, and we want our hands in line with the crown of our head. Alright? So where our hands will be coming, in line with our head. Hips are nice and tall, and exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, control, and exhale, 2, 3. We don't want to be coming past the crown of our head, because that's when you're going to be starting to doing some damage throughout our muscles. When you're ready to come down, lower it down throughout the hips first, then come down with your weight. More advanced version from our bicep curls is actually on our preacher curl bench. Adjusting the seat at the appropriate height, so grabbing hold for your height will be just roughly the same as what you were over there previously on the machines. Grabbing hold of your bar, now you might be on an easy bar, which is an angled bar. We don't want to have a grip that's too close or too wide, so we want to have it so it's roughly in line with our shoulders, directly underneath. It's always easiest to start with it up. Retract down. Now our elbows are in line in front of us. As it starts to get harder, so it's as you're drawing towards the end of your set, you're going to feel that your elbows are drifting out on the bench underneath you. So you readjust and bring those elbows, bring them back in. Try not to let the shoulders creep forward, so we don't want to be coming over top, keeping it nice and tall throughout the back. Using your biceps and exhale on the heart. 3 count up, 3 count down. We now have our standing bicep curl, so it's working our bicep. We're going to be grabbing our dumbbells. Our feet in line with our hips, in line with our shoulders, all the way up tall. Palms are facing forward, shoulders back. Bring it straight up towards our shoulders and coming back down. Our line of our body is nice and straight and strong. Knees are slightly bent. Our elbows on the retraction are not extended fully. Keep them slightly bent. As you count to 3. So 1, 2, 3, up, 2, 3. All right, our hammer curls is working our bicep. All right, so we're grabbing our dumbbells. Our feet are relatively close together. Nice stance. Hips are tucked underneath, so tailbone isn't pushed. Hips are tucked underneath. Knees are slightly bent. Back is nice and tall. We're going to be curling straight up towards our shoulders. So imagining that our dumbbell, we're gripping it like we would a hammer. If you wish to be engaged with your pelvic floor, engage that now. So pretending you're stopping urination, squeezing it through all those internal muscles, really focusing on the biceps doing the work. So looking straight forward, exhale on the heart, so exhale, 2, 3, and retract, 2, 3. Don't lock out the elbows straight, keep them slightly bent, shoulders aren't rolling forward, back is staying nice and upright. We're now going to be working our abdominal muscles, so we're going to be going on an ab machine. I've adjusted already the height of where I want the seat to be. Adjust the weight accordingly. Make sure your ankles are tucked in tight. Now, the ankles here are not to be helping you heave. We want the motion and exercise to be coming from our abdominals, so don't be putting pressure throughout those legs. The hardest part of this exercise is the initial pullover. So once you pulled it over, then that's the hardest part. When we're coming back, we want to be able to still come back, so then we are touching, so the weight should just touch and then we'll come again. Our eye line should be following through with our upper body. So exhale, inhale. Count 1, 2, 3, and control 2, 3. Again, 2, 3, and control 2, 3. We now have our leg press machine, which is a compound leg exercise, so it's using multiple muscle groups. We're going to adjust our back so we can see the numbers at the rear. So I'm going to be putting it at 4 because that's correct for my height. Now just keep in mind of how much you weigh. And for you to get up and down to the toilet seat, you can pick up your own body weight. So use your body weight as an indication when you're selecting a weight to be able to be pressing through. Placing our feet on the pad in front of us, our feet to our knees, to our hips, to our shoulders. So our feet aren't close together, our knees aren't touching. They're stationed apart, but not too wide apart. Full back connection onto the pad work behind us. We don't want to be using our hands for this one, keeping it down beside you, pressing through all balls of the feet to extend back with our knees. No locking out, keeping them slightly bent, retracting back through. So we want to have our knees about a 90-degree angle, pressing through. If you're not getting a 90-degree angle, you possibly are too far away, or if your knees are too up close to you, you're too close, too forward, so you will need to adjust your seat. So pressing through all balls of the feet, 1, 2, 3, and back, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, control it back. Don't clunk the weights, control, and pressing through all feet. Don't let the knees flow out, don't let the knees come in. So depending if you roll your feet, you may experience that as well. Okay, we have our lying leg curl now. If you're unable to lay down, so getting down and up is a bit difficult, you can do a seated leg curl. So with a lying leg curl though, we are engaging the glutes a bit more. So our leg curl is working the back of our legs, so our hamstrings and our glutes. A lying leg curl does engage the glutes that little bit more. We need to adjust our pad work so that it's going to be sitting underneath our Achilles. So adjust the pin and moving it forward and back. We've already adjusted our weight. We're going to be letting our Achilles grab hold of that pad work. Our hips are at that turning point of pads. We're squeezing it all the way in, and we want to squeeze it all the way into the glutes. That last little bit is the hardest bit. So extending out, but not so our knees lock. We want to keep them slightly bent. Bring it all the way in. So don't just stop here. Keep going that little bit further. You're going to feel it so much more. So, and exhale, 2, 3, control, and retract back, 2, 3. Again, exhale, 2, 3, count of 3, and retract, 2, 3. We want to make sure that that pad is coming as close to our glutes as we can. Next we have our lunges, and this is also working our legs all the way through to our glutes. So our lunges side views, we have a nice wide stance. Our back remains straight. Our back knee is coming straight down to the ground and coming back up. So straight down, nearly touching. If you need to touch, touch. So straight down and retracting back up. Our back stays straight. I don't want to see this. This is not a lunge coming forward. Stay upright. Should be able to see that toe past your knee at all times. And back up. Coming down, check your toe out and back up. Then you need to repeat it on the other side. So really big stance back, nice and tall, and up. Now as you're becoming more advanced with this, you might want to add some dumbbells, equal weight either side, coming down and up. That's after a number of sessions and a number of months. We have our calf raises now, so our calves are our lower section of our legs. We adjust our weight to what we feel is reasonable, keeping in mind what your own body weight is, because you can do your own body weight. This is on top of. If you need to adjust the height for your pad work, do so, up or down. Coming down is for shorter, higher is for taller. We're coming underneath. Our toes to our mid zone, not to our arches, is on the platform. Standing up tall, so this is where we're tall. Coming down, we let our heels come down and coming back up. Very important that our spine stays straight throughout this. So letting the heels come down and back up. Our feet are not close together. And a slight pause at the top will really help. Try not to roll on the outside of your little toes. When you're coming and finished, bending the knees and coming back off. We have our shoulder press machine, so it's working the entire shoulder. We're going to be using our yellow tag to adjust our seat height accordingly, depending on how tall you are. The shorter, the higher, the taller, the lower the seat comes. Adjusting our weight, then we want to have our shoulder starting point, so our thumbs should be in line with our shoulders. If they're too high, bring the seat, adjust it. If your hands are too low, it's not at the correct height. Pressing straight up towards the sky, try not to lock up the elbows, bring it on back, resting the head. Exhale up, 2, 3, and back down, 2, 3. Pressing from the shoulders, 2, 3, and back down, 2, 3. Nice and controlled. Next we have our side raises. So again, this is for our shoulders. With our weight, we won't be able to go terribly high with this one. Nice and tall throughout the back. Coming up to our side. So shoulder height with our elbows to our weights. Now, the longer the arms, the longer the lever, meaning the harder the weight is. We don't want to lock the elbow out. So if you have any elbow injuries, it's probably best off to keep those elbows retracted in. And as you start to go up in weight, see how you go with them at 90-degree angle. And then as you can, bring them out further and further until nearly straight arm. Okay, now our reverse splice is working our back, so it's closest to our scapula as well. With our dumbbells, so with our weights, we don't want to be having them really heavy because our arm's going to be longer levered, so they're not going to be nice and close to us. Extended out, but not locked out throughout the elbows, slightly bent. Throughout this exercise, pretend that you're drinking hourglass, so coming over from the hips. So we're not coming from our shoulders, we're coming over from the hips. Arms down, extended in front of our shoulders. We're going to be squeezing the shoulder blades behind you. Okay? So bring it up, 2, 3, and retract, 2, 3. Our legs are nice and stable, and we're going to squeeze those shoulder blades behind you. We don't want to be too upright. We don't want to be standing up here and doing it. Bending it over, up, and squeeze, and retract. Up, 2, squeeze, and retract. Exhale on the hard, inhale. And as you start to go up in weight, you're going to start to feel like you can't go as high up, okay? So do it as you're progressively getting ready. All right, use of a treadmill is relatively easy, but if you are uncertain of use of a treadmill, each machine will have a safety latch. So with that safety latch, if you attach the clip to yourself, your t-shirt, when this retracts off, it will stop. So when you get too close to the end of the belt, it will stop. So to start the treadmill again, you will need to reattach your safety latch and you'll be able to start again. Now, to turn the treadmill on, we push green for go, and that will start our treadmill. 3, 2, 1. And if you want to increase the speed, we need to push our plus signal, so for faster. So just keeping in mind how fast you walk to get inside the club today, okay? An average speed for somebody walking, depending on their age, but normally nobody walks at a slower speed than 4 kilometers an hour, and it just increases from there depending on how fast you walk. Now, if you wish to incline the treadmill, we can incline the treadmill, meaning inclining the belt or the bed, so it's simulating that the same as it would be on a hill. If we ever wish to stop, we push stop, and it will stop. Belt stop. Okay, simple and easy. All right, there are various different steppers available. This one over here is a climber stepper, so if you wish to use that one, you can. Today I'm going to be using this stepper right here. Okay, so if these ones here, a lot of the equipment at the latest gym or in the mixed gym is self-generated, which means it will power up as soon as you start using it. So it doesn't need to be connected to power, so you're creating and generating your own energy, and the earth will love you. All right, so once you've generated enough power, the screen will turn on. We're going to push quick start for go. And with our quick start, we can adjust our effort level, so our resistance. So that means the higher the resistance, the faster we need to step. Now with our goal, just think about how quick you would be stepping if you're going up a flight of stairs. You don't want to be doing it too easy, because remember, this is your cardio component. So this is where we're going to be burning fat and burning our calories.